So my name's Erik Fortenberry, and I initially came to SOJO when Corey approached me at a wedding. I was working as a caterer and asked me if I'd be interested in helping him plan a church. And currently, at that time, I was at my parents' church and was just really seeking an opportunity to serve. And the opportunities were there, but it wasn't, I guess, as frequent as I may have wanted it to be. When I met with Corey, we ended up meeting for coffee and just kind of had a discussion of what SOJO was, what the vision for it was, and kind of what serving would look like. I've come to find out I have a servant's heart, and I feel like here is where it's really been able to shine. Those early days were like, you go in, there's like 5 of us for service, and you're like, am I making the right decision? So, and I remember my first Sunday running sound, I couldn't even hook up the cables correctly. It had been that long since I'd done a full-on setup, but it gave me the opportunity to challenge myself to grow and just develop relationships that some of them have been in place since that day. I'd say some of the highs from those days is just seeing us stick together through so much adversity. You read about when COVID started and like all these churches were shutting down and like how we flourished and how our online presence became so strong that like people in other states and other countries were watching our sermons, and I never thought I'd be part of something that reached that extent. You always think of that as being limited to that church's congregation, but the fact that we're reaching beyond our 4 walls, beyond our body is remarkable. And back in like 2019, I was just struggling really bad with like anxiety and things like that, and just having stretches of bad days after bad days after bad days. And I just remember sitting in your office one night at the association and just kind of pouring my heart out and just kind of figuring out where all this is coming from, and I was seeking an answer. And you encouraged me to like start getting into the Word and like how I need to structure that time. And then I remember you anointed me with oil. That's like one of my core memories. And like you would think it'd be some sort of a service or something like that, but that's just like, man, this guy really loves me and he really cares about me. And that's what I envision a pastor being. That kind of leads to my second story. Much y'all probably know, when I was here initially, I was always praying for that lady in my life, and that she would come along, and just to have this church just come alongside me and like pray for me and just pray for me in that search for my bride. And Monica came into the picture, and just to see everybody's just encouragement, like that their prayers were answered, and just like how my demeanor changed from meeting her to when it was previously, and just to feel that encouragement from church members. Because it's always somebody will say, I'll pray for you, but you never know if that's the truth or not. Sometimes it's just kind of empty words, and that's not the case. So often, like when something's really good, we don't want to share it, we don't want to let it go. Whether that be like members who may end up going to one of our church plants, like I don't want to let them go. That's my friend, that's my I love hanging out with them on Sundays and Tuesdays and whatnot. But just being able to replicate that into other areas of the community, because we can't be selfish with this. And my goal and my heart would just be for others to experience what I experienced.